comes. Got his cowboy hat and his cut-off red shirt, driving the white van. Oh boy. Yeah, the spare tires.
You don't have like a Budweiser or something or in his hand right there.
I'm sure he has that. It's one of the cozy on the inside. He doesn't use the spare tires down the back anymore. Had to replace.
Not because I want any harm on Hassan Piker. Absolutely not, actually. Quite to the contrary. I just really don't like the whole inciting terrorism in America and supporting terrorist organizations designated by America. And, you know, I really don't like that whole telling your audience to murder specific senators. Like, you know, there are things like that. Now, I've been saying this for a long time. I would argue that I am the one who popularized the let's deport Hassan and send him to jail, where we don't support him getting by another inmate, but statistically, it might happen. All right, we don't support it. I'm just saying there is a above 0% chance this happens. Now, I made a tweet that was absolutely diabolical because a lot of people were talking about it. This clip kind of went viral. Tecton actually put this clip together, and everyone started talking about it, which is fantastic.
I'm sick and tired of it. Left-wingers, liberals, you need to be fucking showing your opponent's guts on there, okay? You need to be gut.
And then Hassan says, how is that? I can't believe a left-wing person would kill Charlie Kirk, says Hassan Piker.
Cutting them. You need to be shanking these motherfuckers and letting their intestines just ride on stage.
Wow, that's pretty violent. That's pretty violent.
Slice them up. Slice them and fucking dice them.
Oh.
What the fuck is this?
Oh my goodness.
Letting their intestines just ride on stage.
Yeah, kill them. It's crazy seeing the side by side because we know that there's an insurgency of radical left, absolute degenerate, morally abhorrent fucks in the country, and they're being pushed by this shit. Obviously, the fact that we saw thousands cheering for the murder of an innocent man means that it's a systemic problem and not just one random retard. And no, it's not a both sides issue. It's a there are 25% of the country that literally wants to kill you and cheer when you die. This is a really bad thing. This is the largest streamer on Twitch. I'm very excited for today's video. Can't you tell? I fucking hate this guy. Yeah, of course, I hate no one. But if I would hate someone, it would be this guy. Largely because he slandered me and called me a pedophile with no evidence. That's one of the reasons. Called me a pedophile in front of literally tens of thousands of live viewers. Fucking insane shit that he gets away with that, by the way. Just that alone. Forget the whole terrorism angle. But no, absolutely. Literally, this is insane.
Kill those motherfuckers in a video game, sorry. Holy shit. Murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods.
Largest leftist streamer, by the way, in America. Dude, Hassan Piker uses Amazon-owned Twitch.tv to call for violence against elected officials.
If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
United States Senator Rick Scott. He's telling his audience to kill him.
Kill Rick Scott.
I'm gonna kill you with my AR-15.
That's the type of messages they were leaving in these dudes of this dude's office, and he's resigning. Like, you literally last term.
He's talking about how threatening people's lives is good because it'll make them resign.
You wrote about this, and then it was a great video where you talked about, someone has to do it.
Someone has to do it is a euphemism for killing President Trump, by the way.
See, when I say that, everyone knows exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
I think that shows that there is a lot of anger, a lot of resentment.
Yeah, literally fuck these people, by the way. They want us dead. All right, let me just remind you, they want us dead, and he's trying to make sure that happens.
So, on that revolutionary
The CEO of Twitch, Dan Clancy, has stated that Hassan Piker is his favorite creator. Yep, true.
Not a gamer himself, Clancy mostly watches musicians or talk shows on Twitch. He particularly enjoys leftist political commentator Hassan Piker, who has 2.5 million followers on the platform. I like the frankness and the bluntness, Clancy said. He's comfortable saying what he believes.
Yeah, what he believes. He said, America deserved 9/11, for example. Are you comfortable with Hassan Piker saying what he believes?
Someone has to do it. See, when I say that, everyone knows exactly what I mean.
So, Hassan Piker, actually, believe it or not, went a little bit viral here, thanks to largely Tecton, because he put this little compilation together. I'm really happy that I put Tectone on the fuck Hassan Piker train. I really feel like I've contributed to this movement of, yeah, we don't actually want terrorists in our country. So Hassan Piker kind of went viral here, and Elon Musk replied to this, tagging Jeff Bezos, the guy who owns Amazon, to say, what the fuck is going on? Do we have terrorists on your website? So I made a tweet after I saw that Elon Musk was a little bit onto this. I made a tweet saying, hello,
You can make one at the
Hassan Piker calls for the death of Senator Tom Cotton, Senator John landlords, fascists, Zionists. When he says fascist, he made 5+ videos calling Elon himself a Nazi. Zionist, he just means Jews. It's true. He said someone's got to do it regarding Trump. Supports Luigi Montioni. Refused to condemn the murder of 2 Israeli staff in Washington, D.C. Stealthily justifies the assassination of Charlie Kirk, calling him a fascist radical. He also plays terrorist propaganda videos and stated open support for terrorist organizations Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, which have all killed Americans, by the way. He also said he would support an IRA-style terrorist organization in the USA to fatigue the population regarding support for Israel, because literally this guy is Israel first. It's the only thing he cares about. The only thing he cares about is destroying Israel. It's literally the only thing he cares about. He's, I mean, that and, you know, getting Americans killed if they're capitalists, obviously. He's clearly protected due to his constant violations of TOS without punishment, including threatening a viewer's life with what appeared to be a gun, doxing the private info of his critics multiple times, uncritically reads terrorist manifestos, tells his audience to threaten ICE agents, participates in violent riots in LA, blocking highways while live on stream, stating America deserves 9/11, communist propaganda, false reporting, slanders other content creators, including myself, Tectone, Ethan Klein, Aspen, and more, calling us pedophiles, rapists, terrorists, Nazis, mother killers, and the list goes on. I have more evidence. Then you do something about this, God bless. And Elon Musk actually liked the tweet, which maybe it contributed to it going a little bit viral. As you can see, 1 million people saw it. Literally everyone was put on this, by the way. Every fucking guy in the right-wing sphere liked this tweet. I'm not even kidding. People that are like large conservative content creators that I would have never expected to ever cross paths with like the tweet. Honestly, we have a problem in this country, and that is the trans Tifa far less fucks that are straight up endorsing murdering people they don't like. It is a real issue. Real issue in the country. So I personally am really happy that a lot of people are on the fuck Hassan train. Yeah, I actually very much support this because, you know, Hassan Piker supports terrorism. And if you support terrorism, fuck you. And just to be clear, according to the Bible, if they want you to kill, if they're trying to kill you, you kill them first. But listen, I don't want Hassan dead, but I do want him out of the country if possible. The brutal and vicious and horrible and honestly traumatizing murder of Charlie Kirk, I think, has galvanized people to realize, yeah, there is a political movement in this country that wants you dead, and literally fucking fuck this shit. So anyway, breaking news actually went down. Twitch's CEO is being called to justify in front of a committee in Congress on the radicalization of its users. The official Congress of the United States House of Representatives, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, this is breaking news from 4 hours ago, on September 17th, says Dan Clancy, the CEO of Twitch, with his address, Mr. Clancy, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform requests your testimony at a hearing Wednesday, October 8th, the day after October 7th anniversary, by the way, where there was a gigantic massacre of Jews in Israel and Hassan cheered on the terrorists. Fantastic timing, I guess. And also, Israel was actually geo-blocked by all of Twitch. Twitch actually geo-blocked all of Israel for a year because they just hate Jews. You know, it was only after backlash that they actually un-geo-blocked all of Israel, which is illegal, actually. But anyway, on October 8th at 10 a.m. in room whatever, on the U.S. Capitol Visitor Center, the hearing will examine radicalization of online forum users, including incidents of open incitement to commit violent, politically motivated acts. This is Hassan Piker 101, ladies and gentlemen. This is literally Hassan Piker 101. Destiny's already been banned on Twitch, so I assume that that's actually not going to be super relevant. But this is a fuck you, Hassan, and this is beautiful. To confirm your appearance at the hearing, please contact the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform staff over here. Please provide your written testimony at least 2 business days prior to the hearing. You will have the opportunity to provide a 5-minute opening statement prior to answering questions posed by members. Dude, this is absolute cinema, okay? This is like a holy fuck it's happening moment. I feel like I have contributed to making this man's day a little worse. Which, I mean, to be honest, he literally wants me dead, so I don't care. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is the principal oversight committee of the U.S. House of Representatives. It has the broad authority to investigate any matter at any time under House Rule X. Thank you in advance for your cooperation with this inquiry. Sincerely, James Comer, Chairman of the Committee of Oversight and Reform. This is absolute cinema. Absolute cinema. Now, will Hassan Piker get banned? I am fairly certain he will. Will he go to jail? we might have to wait a little bit longer. But there is obviously a radical fucking movement in this country, and it is insane. So this is Thank you so much. This is absolute cinema. This is glorious. I love this
The
so
three
much.
of you
Hassan
awake
Piker
in
has
your
openly and directly said that he was in direct
quiet
contact with
crypto
Hamas
sleep.
terrorists. There is no fucking way. No fucking way.
Searching
This
of the
is
sound of
I'm
sirens
saying this,
and
I'm literally
ripping
fucking justified. Now, I'm
metal.
here. I
You barely get
that for the good
to
of the
escape.
I would send
Get to
some
the
of
escape
past
pods
clips to
before
some of
the
Congress
ship
that I might be friends
is
with,
torn
just so
apart.
they're prepared. So, listen. This
Sometime
isn't
later,
connections or anything, but I just felt like it would
you
be
land
if they were
on
aware. So I did send
this
them a little bit.
unknown
I sent them a
Rimworld
tweet, and I said, if
as
you need
pieces
evidence,
of
I need a
shredded
tweet
starship
back
fall
to
around
you.
you.
And just to make sure,
You start
I needed to make sure
making
that,
plans
that,
to
they know
survive.
what they're doing. I want justice.
Okay.
Okay, listen. So, I just wanted them to understand what was actually going on. So yes, I did make a couple of, message a couple of guys. We had to do it. We had to do it.
Cool.
Listen, man. If Jews control the government, the Jews should use that shit to kill terrorists. What do you think, guys? Anyway, I'm joking. Obviously, all right. No, the Jews aren't controlling. We're not going down that path. Okay, listen. We're not going down the path. All right. Anyway, we're just having a good time today. Today's a good day. All right. Anyway, so Hassan, right after. All right, the House Oversight Committee Chairman calls the CEO, and then Hassan Piker, absolute cinema, right on target. He thinks he's so cute. Twitch is not a factor in the Tyler Robinson investigation at all, and yet they want to bring the platform into the story. There's a sinister reason, and I think you all know what it is. Actually, yes, it's because there is a far-left, fucking retarded bullshit terrorist cult of over-medicated retards that don't understand there's two genders and want to kill you if you believe in God. So, throw sweaty fucking bullets, all right? Again, no one claims that Twitch had anything to do with the assassination of Trump. No one said that. But Hassan Piker himself when Charlie Kirk was murdered, Hassan's entire community celebrated. They celebrated. And I have actual Twitch chat logs of Hassan Piker's community cheering for this murder. Those fucking guys will kill any of you. Alright, they will kill any of you. Any and all of you. It's on record. We literally have that shit. So, with all due respect, Hassan, you're right. I don't think that you personally pulled the trigger and killed Charlie Kirk. But I do think that fuck you. That's my response. My opinion is fuck you. What do you think, guys? What do you think, guys? Is that well reasoned enough? Yeah. So anyway, I responded. Perhaps it's because the Twitch platform is the platform that houses unfettered terrorist propaganda and streamers that tell their audience to murder senators. I guess we'll find out. So obviously, we are very excited. We are both literally at the edge of our seats. Hassan and I are united in our excitement for the day for very opposite reasons. Very opposite reasons indeed. I personally am really glad, really glad that we're getting to the time where people are actually taking this seriously. Because unfortunately, in my opinion, it's too late for Charlie when it can save other people. All right, we can literally fucking take our country back from this actual homicidal death cult, like a suicidal, homicidal death cult, and we can fucking eliminate that entire fucking retarded segment of society. Again, don't want any of them killed, but if you're a complete communist retard, shit's gonna be bad. So anyway, call it the Charlie Kirk Act, if you will. So anywho, Rev says that he's a friend of mine, actually. We have united the fact that we don't want to kill Americans. It's the goal, honestly. So he made 2 videos on the whole Elon Musk and Hassan shit, so I wanted to take a look at it because it's been absolutely diabolical. And in my opinion, that's why this is happening. It's because of Elon Musk. A lot of people hate on Elon Musk because he is very rash. He does make a lot of decisions that are incredibly, well, rash. He, the whole Trump is in the Epstein files thing, like the crash outs. Like, he has his crash outs. He has been absolutely fucking cooking. All right, he is honestly a legendary autistic man. He is easily my favorite autistic man, and we gotta celebrate him for that. We have free speech thanks to Twitter. All right, the reason why we know what's actually happening in the country is because of Twitter. Even though Elon Musk is every once in a while a bit of an emotional guy that makes it go, sometimes every once in a while, has like the occasional crash out. See, you want to know my reasoning that made me diagnose him and decide exactly my opinion on this guy? Is this. Let me open up this image. it was this image, among others. You know how he does like his gay little jump? You know what I'm talking about? Like he always does his like gay little jump. You know what I'm saying? Like he does his gay little jump all the time. You know what I'm talking about? So I will explain. When I figured this out, I immediately changed my entire opinion on him. He jumps into he calls it he named his child X. He named one of the Teslas X, and he jumps in the shape of an X. He is autistic as fuck, and honestly, he saved American civilization by buying Twitter. So I'm really glad we were able to come together on this one. Lock in, boys and girls. Hassan Piker called Elon Musk a Nazi for doing a Nazi salute. And then Hassan Piker supports terrorist organizations that want to kill the Jews. You're not going to find a way that this actually makes sense. Congress might.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're here.
All right,
so it looks like there's some major trouble brewing for Hassan Piker. So over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of calls on social media putting some heat on Twitch, Amazon, its owner, and also the CEO of Jeff Bezos. This comes in wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination that was fueled by political violence. And a lot of people are turning to these platforms and their owners and saying, what are you going to do about people like Hassan Piker who've been spreading hateful rhetoric on your platform? Are you going to stop this sort of thing from radicalizing people? And it's getting pretty serious. At this point, a lot of tweets are going viral. In fact, some very influential people are now responding and directly calling Twitch. And
Dude, Dave Rubin was on top of this. Ben Shapiro was on top of this. Michael Knowles was on top of this. Alex Jones made a tweet about this. Elon Musk made a couple of bangers. Bro, this is literally the people that don't want them to kill us are uniting. Nick Fuentes joined the fray. Bro, I said this the entire time. Nick Fuentes juice, Hassan Piker doesn't want the juice. But Nick Fuentes is honest about it, alright? And Hassan literally wants all of us to die and lies about it. So, I will take Nick Fuentes over Hassan any day. Personally, that's my opinion.
Jeff Bezos.
That's my opinion.
And this couldn't happen at a worse time for Twitch. Right now, they're not even profitable. I've wondered for a long time why Amazon...
I actually made a fucking banger tweet at Nick Fuentes. I'm sorry. I'm so excited by this, bro. This is the greatest day. The greatest day. Oh my God, bringing him into court. So one of the Nick Fuentes arch nemesis and also one of the Hassan Piker allies goes by the name of Jackson Hinkle. He's a complete fucking retard as well. Another retard. He's probably gonna end up in jail at some point. He's making Israel kill Charlie Kirk. He's a far leftist, complete retard. Supports terrorists. The drill. He's like Hassan, Twitter Hassan. So Nick Fuentes responds, "You are going to prison for a very long time, little man," which I fully support. Actually, this guy's actual terrorist supporter as well. Here's the funniest part. My response: Agent Hitler, FBI. You're going to prison for a very long time, little man. And it's over. He's cooked. He's based. He's based now. Sorry, bro.
He didn't put up with that. They don't even turn a profit. And that's because of their horrible infrastructure and their horrible marketing. Nobody wants to sit on this platform that's filled with a lot of garbage, quite frankly.
To be honest, it's not even like being on the platform. This bleeds into real life. Like, these are real people. He's telling real people that we should kill those motherfuckers and shank those motherfuckers in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is insane.
And watch 15 ads before they can even do 1 minute of a stream. And like I said, they're not profitable. Their CEO, Dan Clancy, said this.
Twitch loses money, actually. But it's a propaganda website, so, I mean, it does its job. For those of you that are unaware, I actually need to send all of this to that congressman buddy of mine. So, actually, a lot of you might not know this, but the actual trust and safety team that works at Twitch, a lot of the trust and safety team that works at Twitch are actually based in Egypt. Alright, the leader of that trust and safety team is someone that was fired from her previous job for anti-Semitism. You can't even make this up. And this is now the person in charge of who gets banned on the website. Yeah, no fucking shit that they're not going to ban the terrorist supporters. Yes, it's based in Egypt, where, by the way, Egypt has a 95% rate of they hate Jews. It's really interesting how this all kind of comes together, doesn't it?
Back in 2024, and things have only gotten worse. In fact, right now, Twitch's viewership across the platform is the lowest in 5 years. They're doing like pre-COVID numbers at this point. It's looking really bad.
Yikes! What can I say? I'm here streaming live almost every day. Kick.com/Nuxanor, fucking killing it. I'm really glad I moved, bro. I'm so happy I fucking left Twitch. I moved to Kick. I'm even bigger on Kick than I was on Twitch, actually. A huge W. Here I am, an alternative media, fucking kicking yo ass every day. Dude, this is amazing.
Right now, with everything going on in wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination and people trying to go out there and start cracking down on violent rhetoric being spread on social media.
We needed, the FBI, by the way, needed to do this for a very long time. It's something that people like me, Asmongold, a lot of people that are online have seen this. All right, a lot of people have actually noticed this very, very clearly. The fact that there is a lot of violent rhetoric, people that directly call to violence. Like, and it's everywhere, for the record, in case you are aware. It's everywhere. It's on every platform. It's on Reddit. It's on Twitter. It's on Twitch. And honestly, like, the FBI should be scouring for this shit. Like, it turns out that a lot of the people that have committed these violent acts, like these Trans-Tifa terrorists, like, an actual surprising amount of them have tweeted, I'm gonna fucking kill people, right? So, like, you know, if they've tweeted shit like that, you'd think that people would start, you know, looking into that a little bit, right? You know what I mean? It's been far, far too long. Far too long, man. Far too long. And it's so sad. It's so sad that Charlie Kirk had to die before we got there, man. But we have to fucking cook. We have to cook, man. We absolutely have to cook. It's insane.
We're looking at Dan Clancy and his connection to Hassan Piker, who he has consistently praised for speaking what he believes.
Not a gamer himself, Clancy mostly watches musicians or talk shows on Twitch. He particularly enjoys leftist political commentator Hassan Piker, who has 2.5 million followers on the platform. I like the frankness and the bluntness, Clancy said. He's comfortable saying what he believes.
Yeah, apparently speaking what he believes contains a lot of very hateful things that are, well, quite frankly, concerning. But yesterday or 2 days ago, I talked about an article that Hassan Piker was a part of, where he was talking about Charlie Kirk, and he was saying that now he fears political violence.
Oh no! Hassan Piker's afraid! Charlie Kirk killed. Hassan Piker most affected. Literally, fuck this shit, man! Holy shit, dude! This is crazy! Bro! Oh my lord! Hassan Piker, for 10 years, has been calling Charlie Kirk a Nazi. For 10 years, he's been calling him a Nazi. He gets killed by someone that uses the same fucking fascist bullshit that you push. You know what? I'm gonna even make this a little bit funnier for the feds that are watching this video. Alright, we'll make it a little bit funnier. You know one of the things that the assassin, Tyler Robinson, had on this bullet? He had cat patch, which is something that Hassan constantly called people on the right. And he had something else. They also had Bella Ciao, an Italian song. You know, an Italian song about how about fighting back against fascism. It's literally a Hassan Piker community meme. This is a 2-year-old video, Bella Ciao, Hassan, AI voice cover. Okay? Like, bro, you're telling me it's not the same fucking pot of retards? Come on, dude.
He wants to turn down the temperature, which is incredibly ironic coming from him. And in that video, I showed about a dozen different examples of Hassan Piker making calls to political violence. You can watch the video if you want to get these specific.
I fucking made an army of these videos. It's crazy. I made an army of these videos. Holy shit. Like, yeah, when you call people Nazis, actually, it's a really bad thing. It actually basically means you should be able to kill them. Like, do we realize this? Because if there really is a fascist Nazi takeover of the country, then you need to fight back. You need to revolt. That's the only option. Like, dude, you look at his fucking video titles, and it'll make you sick. Trump's Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is folks a Nazi word?
Yeah, I got my VTuber up.
Nazis. Another shooting, another Nazi. Elon Musk has always been a Nazi. PewDiePie's video is Nazis. Are we denying the Holocaust? Has Kanye gone Nazi? Another Nazi salute? This is Nazi shit. Like, dude, bro these are all videos calling people Nazis. All of them. Every single one I'm scrolling. They're all Nazis. This is his own channel. Okay?
Yeah.
Alright, all of it. Alright, now we do fascist. Fascist. Alright. This starts a fascist takeover 1 month ago. What does that mean? That means you need to fight back. Full fascism. I'm a fascist. Is fascism on the rise? Could we call this fascism? These Israelis are fascists. Joe Rogan attempts to justify Trump's fascism. Fascist girl boss. Fascism on the rise. Charlie Kirk is dead. Wow. Hilarious. So, like, you see what we're dealing with, man. If you call someone a Nazi and a fascist, then you're basically giving your audience a signal that it's okay to kill them. Because that's what you do if there's actually a fascist Nazi takeover.
Epic examples, but yeah, it's not looking good for him. He looks like a hypocrite, and since then, he's come out with a flurry of articles where these platforms are hosting him and basically making him the center of attention in this situation.
He did a whole PR run after Charlie Kirk was killed, an entire PR run where essentially he was saying, well, actually, I am the one that's scared for my life. Literally the most sick fuck thing you could possibly say. And of course, he said that Charlie Kirk's killer is probably a right-wing guy. Like, dude, what the fuck is happening?
Hassan Piker to basically be the arbiter of truth for Charlie Kirk, and
he is a narcissistic, pathological liar, in my opinion. I've made many videos on this guy. In fact, I would argue that I'm even the guy that kicked off the fucking Hassan towards terrorist thing.
you can see it's filled with a bunch of narcissism, and that is as expected from him. And a lot of people are criticizing him for doing this. It seems like a very desperate attempt at PR because he knows
farming this shit. Like, it's unbelievable. Every single tweet of his is more like demonic than the last. Like, Charlie Kirk, a friend of so many people in the administration, gets killed. The administration talks about it and they're like they're farming it. Like, this is inhuman.
right now there's a lot of heat on him, and he's trying
Oh
to
yeah, I
prove
love
himself
it.
as a guy who rejects political violence, despite his well-documented history of doing the exact opposite of what he's saying. And now he's mad and going after other people for quote-unquote farming this stuff like the soulless huts they are.
Unreal.
And guess what he does after that? He contributes to another article. Yep, this time with the New York Times, titled, "I was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. Here's what I would have said."
Bro, literally, what the fuck is this? In the wake of his murder. In the wake of his murder. Holy dude, this is crazy.
Yeah, you were supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. Well, Charlie Kirk's kids were supposed to have a dad. I don't know how this guy can make it any more about himself and be more melodramatic.
Well, you want to know the honest truth? I'm sorry. A lot of people don't like me because I say what it is. So a lot of people don't like me for this because he wanted him dead. Because he's a communist. That literally, communism is violence, bro. What are we doing? Communist implies that he just wants. Let me explain how communism works. A lot of people think communism is just divide all the shit equally. In practice, how are you going to take the other guy's shit? How is that going to happen? How's it going to work? How are you going to get that guy's shit to divide equally? You fucking kill him. Communism is an inherently violent movement, which is why it was not classified as freedom of speech in America. Communism, there was a Communist Enforcement Act that was enacted in the 1950s in America where they could literally denaturalize and deport you if you are a communist. Because it is not counted as freedom of speech. Because communism always comes together with violence. Hassan Piker is not only a communist, but he is also a radical, pro-Islamist terrorist supporter. He supports terrorist organizations. He never condemned the October 7th massacre in Israel that started the whole war with Gaza, okay? Like, are we on the same page? Like, literally fuck this shit. I don't, of course, he's not thinking of the guy's kids. In my opinion, he wanted him dead.
About this, and again, in this one as well, he ends up calling out political violence again and tries to condemn it. We know it's a bunch of hypocrisy and a chance for him to save face, which people are not buying. And really, the true intentions of what he's saying about the man is...
Charlie Kirk was murdered, and the first thing Hassan Piker thought is, holy shit, they're gonna say that I incited people to kill him, when I literally incite people to kill people.
Coming out. It seemed at first he was trying to show some sort of shock and horror about the situation. Over the past couple of days, it's turned into non-stop attacks, especially on people supporting him or even condemning anything that's happened to him. In fact, it's shown right here. Hassan was literally seething because the New York Knicks held a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. This upset him greatly.
He supported them doing a moment of silence for George Floyd, but he didn't support them doing a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk because, well, Charlie Kirk's an evil Nazi that, according to Hassan, deserves to die. It's really that simple. A lot of people like kind of trying to figure out and attribute motives. Why does he? It's really honestly simple. He is a radical Islamist communist. It's really actually kind of fucking simple.
Holy Yankees held a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Kirk founded the youth activist group Turning Point USA.
He's made so many anti-Christian videos. I made a whole video looking at his commentary on Christianity. Like, literally, what are we talking? According to the Quran, all right, which, again, he's not a religious Muslim. He goes to brothels and shit. Obviously, he's not religious. But he does come from a culture where, according to the Quran, you should be killing Christians because Christians worship Jesus. And according to the Quran, Jesus is a false god. He was a prophet, but he was a false god. So, literally, death penalty. It's in the Quran. Okay, so he comes from a culture where he is more than happy cheering on this man's murder.
Has become a fixture on college campuses. Bro, the right dominates our politics so aggressively. I mean, how can you look at this? I mean, how can you look at this and see anything else? Youth activist group.
Like, how could this be your commentary? They're mourning a man who was just killed. He's like, oh, I can't believe the right dominates our politics as people are mourning an innocent man that was murdered in front of his children. Can't believe that they would do that.
Stripping its ideological convictions of all of its meat until it's just a right-wing activist of the youth group.
Yeah, look at this total.
He literally was a right-wing activist for the youth group, for the record. For the record, that's literally what he was. And now Hassan needs to do his best to rewrite history to kind of justify his murder. He says that, no, I'm not justifying the murder. I'm just explaining to you why he was an evil Nazi that deserved to die. That's Hassan Piker's methodology here. He literally was a moderate conservative, to be clear.
Normal guy getting upset about someone getting a moment of silence at a sporting event. And by the way, for those not familiar, there have been countless major sporting events all across America and the world as well that have also held moments of silence. So I don't know if Hassan's just not seeing that, but there's also vigils all
Would you say that Hassan's Nazi-ing that?
over the place. One that was just insane to show the level of influence. There is a clip of hundreds of South Koreans in English chanting, "We are Charlie Kirk."
Yeah, wow,
And
dude.
you can like his views or not, but you can't deny his influence and how
True,
this
true.
assassination has...
People don't realize how insane this was for everyone. Like, this was... Like, obviously, it affected me very personally. I was absolutely destroyed. I'm still kind of destroyed about it, to be honest. But, like, everywhere around the world, they celebrated this man. South Korea, in England, in Spain, in Israel, they literally celebrated him around the world. So, and the We Are Charlie Kirk, I'm getting these fucking retards on Twitter hitting me up. Coward, debate me, Nuxtaku, instead of no one. We're all Tyler now. You know? And it's like, you expect me to unify with this guy? You want on both sides of this issue, guys? But we are all bloodthirsty fucking assassin murderers that want you dead? I'm sorry, bro. No, you killed the negotiator. I'm not talking to you. I don't care.
Opened a lot of people's eyes, and a lot of people...
I would debate Hassan, though. Not that he would ever accept it, because he's scared of me. And he mentioned me many times, but he always mentions me not by name to do his absolute best to not drive people to my channel. But I would debate Hassan. I would absolutely debate Hassan. In fact, I would defend any Charlie Kirk point that he wants to fucking debate. I'd go that far, because he prepared. Hassan prepared to debate Charlie Kirk, right, guys? He's prepared to debate Charlie Kirk. I will debate you. I will defend any Charlie Kirk talking point. But he's a coward. He'll never accept.
I've had a very intense reaction to this. It's not just the wackadoos on social media making threats and encouraging further political violence. A lot of people are mourning and commemorating and at the very least condemning what's going on. But Hassan Piker is very upset about that, and he's upset that he doesn't have the influence this guy had, and he's just seething about it. And it really shows his true colors right here. But again, a lot of people are calling him out on social media. There are countless posts, compilations of all of his crazy statements over the years, making a demand to Twitch to do something. You can see Tectone sharing one of the many videos he's been sharing about Hassan recently. But something interesting happened here. So, Madam Savvy,
this is what Elon
Should I learn drug production?
She wants Dan Clancy to step down and Twitch to make a public statement about this, and maybe even a third-party investigation into how he's allowed to curtail their rules so much. And also, she was saying down here, she might actually make an account and just read off Hassan quotes and then endlessly play it back until it gets his own words.
It's not going to work, for the record. A lot of people probably don't know this lore. There is a character in this story named Ethan Klein, another lefty. So Ethan Klein essentially made an entire Twitch channel where he just
so there's drug production.
The Hassan Piker clips on repeat, literally on loop, the Hassan Piker clips. And they banned his Twitch channel for promoting terrorism. Do you realize what we're dealing with? Like, they didn't ban Hassan. The guy that promotes terrorism. They banned Ethan Klein. The guy that plays clips of Hassan promoting terrorism. That's not called irony.
It's
That's called
addictive
evil.
tea.
For glorification of terrorism, it actually sounds like a great idea. A very funny one. They would definitely ban it. 100%. They don't even care about being viewed as hypocrites at this point. But there was another development.
This is cinema. This is where the tide has changed.
Elon Musk would reply to that previous quote saying, "What's up here, Jeff Bezos?" Directly the CEO of Amazon.
For the record, by the way, for the record, be clear, for the record, I'm just saying, he definitely messaged Jeff Bezos privately. They're all fucking billionaires. They all have each other's phone numbers. He texted him privately. My guess is Bezos did not answer the text, because it's pretty awkward if you have a platform with a guy pushing fucking terrorist shit. So this is my opinion. My opinion is, he messaged him, "What the fuck, Jeff Bezos?" And Jeff Bezos did not respond. So then he put pressure publicly. This is my opinion. This is probably what happened.
Owns, of course, Twitch, and it's getting an incredible amount of attention, and this is a pretty crazy thing to see. Again, you don't have to like Elon Musk, but he's obviously an influential man, and directly calling out Jeff Bezos in the name of Hassan Piker and Twitch is a wild thing to see. And who knows if we'll actually get some action, but there have been some cooler heads to prevail, or so we think. Here's Cenk, who is making some
Traitor to the country, in my opinion.
tweets trying to condemn.
Cenk is such a fucking snake. Also, alright, he also does the whole violence shit. Alright, he's another one of those snakes, rat bastards. So after Charlie Kirk, this is Hassan Piker's uncle, by the way. Alright, so after Charlie Kirk murder, he basically went on this whole spree saying, of course we condemn violence, of course we condemn violence. After years of inciting violence, years, in my opinion, from my perspective. And this is the story that no one wants to say, the story that no one wants to mention, okay? And I'm gonna bring this up every fucking time I possibly can. Every single time Cenk comes up. It needs to be known. They're cut for the same fucking cloth, alright? There was a horrible incident that happened in 2016. This is the shooting of Baton Rouge police officers. 6 police officers were shot by a man named Gavin Long, and 4 died. The person that shot these police officers was a big fan of the Young Turks, run by Joker, Hassan Piker's uncle. Not only was he a big fan of it, but he did reaction videos to the Young Turks, where he would repeat the Young Turks rhetoric, where you have to fight back against the cops. On the Young Turks, they said sometimes you have to fight back against the cops. He made a reaction to that video. He said, yes, sometimes you do have to fight back against the cops. And then he went out and murdered 4 cops. The Young Turks' response to this, alright, I'm just giving you the lore here because a lot of people are unaware of the lore. After this happened, you know what the Young Turks did? The Young Turks copyright struck the reaction videos, took down all the videos that Gavin Long made reacting to them, and then said that Gavin Long was probably a far-right-wing figure, and they ignored and never mentioned that they were an inspiration of his. That is the levels of evil, violence, inciting, fucking shit, worm, dirtbag, cringe that we're dealing with here. This fucking family sucks.
People celebrating Charlie Kirk's death and condemning further calls for violence and saying, hey, I talked to some right-wing friends today and realized one of the biggest problems is that they're only seeing the crazies that are saying disgusting things about
that's
Charlie
what everyone tries so hard to say. It's only a couple of guys on the fringe.
Kirk. And then Tectone says, the biggest problem is her effing nephew. That's right, this is Hassan Piker's uncle, in case you didn't
Fucking inbred criminal family.
know. This guy's from the Young Turks. He's a political
For
commentator.
those of you that are unaware of what the Young Turks, you know what the Young Turks is named after though? You know what the Young Turks is literally named after? They decided to deny this 10 years later. Would it surprise you if I told you that the Young Turks is a terrorist organization, an insurgency group? Would that surprise you that they named their fucking channel after an actual insurgency group? They deny it. They say it's a coincidence. They just happen to be Young Insurgents. But at that point, I fucking changed my name. I'll be real. Alright, I'm not making a YouTube channel titled Al-Qaeda and then figure out that Al-Qaeda is actually some pretty fucking bad guys. And then decide, you know what, we're gonna keep running with that. Alright?
And
A terrorist group that genocided, contributed, from as far as I remember, contributed to the genocide of the Armenians.
And yeah, the Nepo baby accusations are very, very real when it comes to Hassan, and it's very ironic for him to be trying to make these calls for peace and to condemn the crazies out there, but then he says nothing about his own nephew. He's very aware of this. All of his posts are being
They're all the same
with
cut
the
to the
same.
cloth, bud.
He's a hypocrite
Cut
as
to
well.
the same cloth.
The report where they were
Oh, dude, I love this, bro.
from him of him mocking Charlie Kirk just years ago when he was attacked by Antifa.
Little incorrect, not mocking. There's a big difference between mocking Charlie Kirk, which anyone has the right to do, or calling him a fascist. And not only did he say that he wanted, I'm sorry, this is like literally, it burns me up inside that this even happened. He said that Charlie Kirk wishes he would die a martyr. That's what Cenk said about Charlie Kirk. That he wishes he would die a martyr.
And he said he was smiling because Charlie wanted to be a martyr so bad. Well, now he is. But he could even, you would see he got very upset about hearing his own words and even said, that,
Said by his own words. It's really hard to lie.
that's not me. With a, reacting to a
This is why they ruined like my Hassan tweet. Fuck, he's on the ball.
Hoarding of himself. It's crazy. But also, we have this right here. He's saying, I'll work with anyone on the right to appeal to our better angles. Well, you should start by firing people like this. This dude works for them, and when JD Vance said, say a prayer for Charlie Kirk, he quoted it and said it didn't work. He said, I'll be honest, I'm not seeing any evidence to suggest his neck didn't just do that on its own. Another one saying it's a fake,
See, this is fucking evil.
false flag initiative, and he's on Epstein's Island right now. Pretty insane, disgusting things. I don't know why you would ever employ someone like that, but if you want to really start kind of crossing the aisle, so to speak.
No, he doesn't want to cross the aisle. Cenk Uygur is a very simple man. He's a very simple man. Dude, once you understand the motivations, once you understand like the goal for these people, it becomes really, really obvious. Really, really obvious what every single move that they do is. Every single move makes so much sense once you understand the goal. All you have to do is understand the goal. Hassan Piker wants a communist Islamist revolution. That's what Hassan Piker wants. Therefore, he's anti-American to his core. In my opinion, his anti-Israelness is a byproduct. He says that Israel is just a satellite of America in the Middle East. He is anti-American to his very core. Cenk Uygur is not like that. He's the opposite. He says that America is a satellite of Israel. And he just hates Israel. And he wants to destroy Western civilization through Israel instead of Hassan who wants to destroy Western civilization through America. And honestly, it becomes really, really obvious when you see the way Cenk slithers. Cenk is very happy to collab with people on the right, but specifically the anti-Israel people on the right. Cenk, that is the only thing he cares about. He would fucking sell out America in an instant if it means he could bomb Israel, in my opinion. It's very obvious. It's very obvious. So once you understand the actual strategies here and the way they work and operate, it becomes really obvious. So this guy's, he's super happy Charlie Kirk was killed. Charlie Kirk was very pro-Israel. Like very, very super hardcore pro-Israel. So of course he was happy that Charlie died, and that's why he was one of his arch nemesis. Alright, now Tucker Carlson, for example, he's a right-wing guy, he's pretty anti-Israel in general. Cenk Uygur is doing collabs with them all the time. How does that work? Literally, how does that fucking work? What's going on here? To remember Charlie Kirk? Tonight at 8 a.m. to remember Charlie Kirk, Cenk Uygur is gonna collab with Tucker Carlson? Yeah, because they're doing this whole weird Israel is behind everything shit. Of course, it's obvious. Once you understand the motivations, everything clicks into place. So that's the difference between Cenk and Hassan. Hassan thinks America is the ultimate evil in the world, and Israel is a proxy, and Cenk Uygur says that Israel is the ultimate evil in the world, and America is the proxy. And they're both retarded, to be honest. They're both absolute complete retards.
I think getting rid of this
Anti-Western retards that want to destroy our civilization.
maniac is probably the first start, but overall, this is something that's very simple. If you cannot condemn acts of political violence and calls for it, you're in the wrong. This is...
I'll be honest, I agree with him. Obviously, I have to condemn it. Condemning it's not enough. Condemning it's not enough. You can't be on your stream and be like, you need to kill those motherfuckers in the street. Their guts need to, run onto the sidewalk. And then say, oopsie poopsie, I condemn it. It's not enough. I'm sorry, it's really not. If you're gonna push the whole fucking communist revolution propaganda and then just do oopsie poopsie, I condemn it when something bad happens, that shit is evil, manipulative horse shit. And it means nothing, honestly. Maybe not nothing, but the bar is on the floor.
This is really a breaking point for a lot of normal people who have seen those around them act like literal demons over this situation, of gone completely masked off. And again, I'm sorry for talking about this days and days in a row, but this was a major event with massive implications for the future.
It is.
And now people are really going out there and trying to hold people accountable in legal senses.
Fuck yes, dude.
For crazy things they've been saying, for stirring the pot, for not only saying violent rhetoric or calls to violence, but allowing it in your communities, allowing it to fester to the point where anyone with those crazy beliefs feels comfortable doing stuff there. It's just a lot of things going on right now.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's the Elon Musk call out that really turned this into everything. But anyway, everything got better apparently because Elon Musk went on a tirade calling him out.
The walls are closing in on Hassan. So the other day I made a video talking about a recent situation where a lot of heat is being put on him and Twitch. Let's just say since then, the heat has been cranked up to 11. Things are getting very serious.
Bro's sweating, that's for sure.
All this has to do with a viral campaign where many users are trying to get Hassan Piker banned from Twitch and even arrested.
Yep, I'm just saying, I started that fucking shit. When I said, like, dude, here's the funny thing. Asmongold is one of the big anti-Hassan people. A lot of you are unaware of this. Let me give you some more lore. Asgold used to be like, Hassan has opinions I disagree with. And I was like, no, that guy supports terrorists. Fuck that guy. And then he's like, no, he's a bit too radical for my taste. And I'm like, no, that guy supports terrorists. Fuck that guy. And then he's like, you know what, actually, he's like actually kind of dangerous. He's doing some things that are kind of wild. I'm sure he regrets saying these things. I'm like, no, he supports it. Fuck that guy. I was right. I was literally right. Everyone agrees now. I was correct the entire time. It's literally that obvious. This dude fucking couldn't condemn rape that happened. Alright? He literally denied women getting raped in front of him. Alright? Like, again, literally don't care.
For his continuous violent rhetoric he has shared on that platform. And
like, dude, this man had a collab with an actual Houthi terrorist on his stream. I really think, and as we go watches my videos, so I don't know, man. I cooked really hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably because I just am so.
I don't know.
Shit, but you know. And anyway, the point that I'm making here is not needing to be pro-Israel, anti-Israel, capitalist, socialist, right-wing, left-wing. No, this is really.
Dude, if you looked at this even further, he probably did kill Tony in like 2014.
What do you call black doctors? Nothing. There are no black doctors. Ah! They killed Tony. The Mongoloids were like, yeah! Say the N-word! You son of a... That was incredible. Have you ever gotten from a bad banana bread in her... As a matter of Tony, you my cat. Red band's like, that was chill, dude.
East Coast comedian Stavros Halkias seems to have woken up to the rise of the hack-apocalypse that's absolutely wreaked havoc in Austin, Texas. Because whenever the topic of Kill Tony, Joe Rogan, or the Austin comedy scene arises, Stavros isn't afraid to voice his honest opinions about it. Unlike some other comics who tiptoe pretty carefully around the topic in order to spare Lord Joe Rogan's little feelings from being hurt. But as you just saw there, Stavros really didn't hold back when joking about the smooth brains of Kill Tony superfans, and how they give standing ovations to pretty much any sentence that contains a right-winged buzzword or talking point, which of course made Yanni Pappas and Chris DiStefano burst out laughing because of how utterly true that it was. And do keep in mind that this podcast aired around 4 months ago, right before established comedians like Mark Maron, Bill Burr, and Dan Soder made it clear to the public that Joe Rogan and his disciples are seriously doing damage to the modern comedic landscape. A call-out that was so legendary that it seems to have even inspired Stavros a little, because now he's just calling out people for their obvious BS. Like just last week, Stavros was on Mark Norman's podcast, We Might Be Drunk, dumping on his buddies for scheduling the Riyadh Comedy Festival gig, since they're pretty much just stomping on their morals in the face of that mouth-watering Saudi Arabian blood money. And he really goes in on Sam Morril here, since if Sam had a shred of dignity, he would have turned it down, since to Stavros' point, Sam Morril is a Jewish comedian at the end of the day.
London, Ontario, and then I'll be Chicago, September 5th, and then September 11th, theater at MSG, and then September 27th, Saudi Arabia with...
Oh, come on, just your cursive getting it first. Right?
I hate it when I don't pause it.
Everyone doing all the people cleaning your sheets are just Filipino slaves. They're doing it too, right?
I am.
October 8th. I figured the 7th would have been important, so I'm doing the 8th. I'm on the 8th. I'm there on the 8th. Saudi Arabia! Yeah, from Saudi Arabia airspace? Oh, dude. Hold on.
So good on Stavros for calling this whole Riyadh Comedy Festival disaster out there, because everyone who's on that lineup are officially the most soulless, money-hungry comedians alive. Like, they're basically telling their audience that they do just about anything for the right amount of money, which also makes you wonder if they would have gone to Germany in the 1940s and performed there if the evil Austrian painter offered them enough bread. Like, almost that insane. And also, just on a quick side note, Bill Burr really disappointed me here. I mean, after everything he's done this year, from calling out Elon Musk and the idiot podcasters who platform those guys, I truly thought he was better than this. At least Stavros had the integrity to turn the money down, since he was most definitely offered to do it. But anyways, as you can see now, Stavros Halkias isn't afraid to take out the trash whenever and wherever it presents itself. And he's always been this way, but this side of him has been coming out more and more recently, as his peers in the comedy world are increasingly changing for monetary gain. But just a few days ago, he unfortunately had to put a fellow comedian on blast after she wouldn't stop talking about the sensitive topics that the Austin comedy scene thrives on. You know, anti-trans, anti-feminist rhetoric that mothership attendees pump through their veins on any given night there.
Yeah, special tomorrow, Take Me With You. Comes out tomorrow on Netflix.
Right now I'm in Austin.
You're in Austin.
I'm about to see Rogan.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
My friend's ex, not ex, whatever. He said that. He's like the southern guy. It's to me is rap.
Yeah, that is a side, but it's bullshit.
Yeah, but it's not transgender. Transition fully.
Stop
Sorry. So then,
You can be
identifying as
Yeah, you know.
fully just a hot woman who got assassinated.
That's how just trying to
I mean, I think being trans, I mean, we're in a society where, I think, unfortunately, society dictates that a little bit. And
I think I'm more trans.
You're not. But I do think if you're trans, you're still cool.
Yeah, I said a bull.
Yeah, I think that's where I land. You have gotten, like, Austin trans friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it really is on top of your head.
No, because I
You
really...
immediately brought it up as soon as the podcast started.
So clearly Stavros is conscious of the boring, played-out, anti-woke talking points that Jordan Jensen is hitting on here, and I feel like it's just completely bumming him out. Not because she's talking about trans people in a bigoted sort of way, that probably doesn't even bother him. The thing that's getting to him here is that she's so obviously practicing these lines for her upcoming visit to Austin in order to promote her special. Stavros sees right through it. Since after all the times they did podcasts together, this is the first time she's really emphasizing her criticisms on trans people and feminism. Completely right before she goes to do JRE.
Yeah, it's hard to be a woman. It's not hard. You wake up and all the women around you would be like, ew, why are you just wearing your regular face today? And you'd be like, because it's on my face. You have to put mush on it and lots of stuff on it. And you'd be like, but it's my face. You have to be
that's hard. That's what I'm saying.
hard. It's stupid.
It
and
is.
It's our fault. Women can stop. Women can stop.
It's
Stop
really
doing
not.
it.
Holy, this is insane. You think it's women's fault
Yeah, dude,
that they're the ones?
just as much. We're just as powerful. Cut it out.
All right, you're practicing for Rogan very clearly. You're gonna do a great job on Kill Tony with these talking points.
He knows that she's not really being her true self here. Like in this next clip, for whatever reason, Jordan Jensen goes on a rant about how she hates women, and it's such a forced act that Stavros literally says to her face that she's very obviously practicing for Rogan. Because according to Stavros, she's actually, deep down, embarrassed of being a hardcore feminist in front of Rogan in his clip.
Up, and it's gotta stop, and we should, our periods and everything, I think every woman when they have their period should have two little red blood stripes. None of this hiding it anymore. No more.
I'm with you on all this stuff.
Feminism is dead.
But what you're talking about is a form of feminism. You're talking about
I want it to come back.
Okay.
Remember hairy armpits? Now it's unacceptable.
I don't think that's.
It's okay in Bushwick, but it's not cool.
Yeah, it's fine.
What's that? The Italian lady had. She was hot.
Oh yes. I know you're talking about it.
Yeah. She had.
I got no problem with hairy armpits. I'm on
That's
record.
fine, but it's very rare to see it on like an actual empowered woman. It's on like a vegan trans who has like non-binary cats or whatever.
You're actually saying radical feminism with Kill Tony vocabulary. It's like a fascinating. I'm having a hard time even because we do agree, but you're throwing these like anti-cancel culture buzzwords out. You're like it's like how Ian is embarrassed for being gay, so he pretends to be Republican. You're doing this. You're embarrassed to be a feminist, so you're pretending to be Republican right now.
I feel like
this podcast sort of solidified the fact that Stavros Halkias has never and will never want to be a part of a group of comedians in the so-called Rogan sphere, who pretty much just ride the anti-cancel culture wave in Austin to stay in the good graces of Joseph, Tony, and, most importantly, the cesspool of fans who support this style of comedy, if you even want to call it that. Because let's not forget that it is the audience and their hard-earned cash that are keeping the Austin disease afloat. They're truly the root of the issue here. And Stavros clearly doesn't want to feed the beast. Instead, he'd rather crack jokes and then laugh at them with that contagious cackle of his. It's his favorite pastime, especially when the jokes are about extremely out-of-touch, unlikable, and unfunny comedians like Burt Kreischer. Look, I don't know if you're aware already, but Stavros and Chris Stefano have been absolutely dunking on Burt Kreischer basically this entire summer, as they were hired last June by Tom and Burt to take over Two Bears One Cave for about 6 episodes. In the very last episode that happened a couple weeks ago, they completely eviscerated Burt so badly that I just couldn't ignore it anymore. And at one point, the things they were saying about him were so accurately insulting that I nearly started to feel bad for Mr. Shirtless. And the roasting began after they finished up their phone call with him, which was so boring that I won't put it in this video, but just know that Chris and Stavros tried their very hardest to rip with Kreischer. But after about 10 minutes of Kreischer talking about ways that he could sell things to his audience, he finally realized why the fans of Two Bears One Cave hate Burt and Tom so much. It's because these two guys have become completely money-oriented. And so after the phone call, they both hilariously came to the conclusion that in order to make the fans happy with the show again, that Burt and Tom would probably need to both perish in a thrilling fight to the death.
I love you guys. Thank you so much.
Love you, bro. Love you, brother. 100%.
All right.
Thank you, Bob. Later,
See
bye.
you, dude.
So if that didn't plummet the ratings, I honestly, if calling Burt, if you're still listening after we just called Burt,
And I believe he called it bad ideas.
yes,
And
which
it's
is
called bad thoughts.
right. So if you're still listening now, you truly need more mental help than I do. We literally just called Burt, and Burt talked about himself in 10 minutes.
I love the first idea, and I do feel bad because you were holding the phone, so I couldn't really. But his idea was like branding. It's like his idea for a bit is like, what could a comic sell?
Yeah,
that's
it's like-
better than alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's like, how about we tell a joke?
Yeah.
How about stand-up comedy is what we
that's
sell?
a joke. It's like,
Actually, it's a great name for
I mean,
Big
they
Two.
also are asking us what should Tom and Burt do when they come back? How do they win the audience back and the show? Right? How will they actually
I
win
think
them back?
it pursue it. I think a fight to the death.
Yes.
And whoever kills the other one keeps the podcast.
Yeah, kind of how, like, I forgot one of them bought Hitler's teacup. They can pull a Hitler and just do a sleeve of brawn. Like, and that's...
Or you know what? A game of Russian roulette.
Nice.
Until one of them dies.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that will satiate the fans' bloodlust.
Yeah.
I think they need to watch one of them and just like, and the thing is, you know, Tom, even though he wants to live, he actually wouldn't be like that shaken, and Burt would be like crying.
And I love that, like, Burt
Or
wins,
more
like,
interesting,
you know, Rose Stone
let's
breaks
add some
down,
curve
and
lines to the
team
corner.
that won
Here are a
Vince
few different ways you can
Would
create these
edit
curves to give your
Burt's
corners
brains flying out of his head
variation.
with his tour dates and every second. Like, he would just know that that's what I have to do because he's got a big
I've got a recommendation last time not to draw the bottom
Starts
line,
his brain
and
out, and he survives, and it just doesn't affect his act.
Yeah. He does the same thing. That's hilarious.
I just feel like Stavros is a breath of fresh air in the circle of successful podcasting comedians. Because not only is he a pretty funny guy, but he's also so self-aware that when he sees a guy like Burt, who is the most self-unaware and out-of-touch person alive, he's able to immediately pick up on why people dislike him so much. And then he's able to create comedy gold out of that realization. So this whole Two Bears One Cave takeover made Chris Stefano and Stavros realize that there's an entire fan base of people out there who will declare you as their king if you call out anything relating to
Add
the
a few
Rogan sphere. And they pretty much just capitalized on that for that whole 2-month duration. It's then pretty obvious at the very end when they clearly say that they're just doing what the fans want. Which
Assuming you have
surprise guests Mark
the process of creating titles for games can get quite tedious, especially if you're working solo.
Add a few different types like grass, dirt, and paths, throw in some random variations, and then you may find yourself with hundreds of tiles to manage. In fact, assuming you have 8 neighbours for each tile, having a unique tile for each possible combination of neighbours would require 256 tiles. Luckily, most of the time we can get away with much less than that. So what are our options? Today, let's compare 3 commonly used tile sets, and then I'd like to show you a really cool alternative called the dual grid system. Let's start with the classic 15-piece tile set. Although it does not contain many tiles, it has one major problem. Because the edges are drawn through the middle of each tile, by default they don't align with the world grid. This results in ambiguous tiles. Should this be considered dirt or grass? Also, the act of placing a single tile down results in a much larger area than expected, so interacting with them is quite confusing. Maybe if your tiles are purely decorative, then you could make this work. It kind of depends on your game. The next option is a 47-piece tile set. These tile edges are drawn closer to the grid edge, so they appear much more aligned with the rest of the game's world. The downside is that now significantly more tiles are required. It's not as high as 256, but 47 is still quite the jump from 15. Sometimes you can get away with using a subset of these tiles. You just have to be careful with broken looking inner corners. In my case, I had to slightly expand all the tiles to make it less noticeable. This 16-piece subset is quick to make and is aligned to the world grid, but might not be compatible with all art styles, especially those with detailed inner corners. Another consideration is that it is pretty hard to achieve equally rounded inner and outer corners with the last 2 options. It definitely comes down to personal preference, but I do tend to prefer the look of perfectly rounded tiles, especially for paths like these. So here are the tile sets we just went through. Unfortunately, each of them has at least one thing we have to compromise on. This is why I think the dual grid system is so neat, because it pretty much solves all these problems. So what is the dual grid system? Well, like its name suggests, it uses 2 grids instead of 1. The world grid keeps track of which tile is where, but doesn't display anything. The second grid is offset from the world grid by half a tile, and each tile changes based on its 4 overlapping neighbours. This means there is only 16 possible configurations of neighbours, instead of 256. In terms of the actual tile set to use with this method, this time we actually want the edges to be drawn halfway through each tile. Once the offset is applied, it will appear perfectly aligned with the rest of the game's world. For learning more about the dual grid system, I recommend checking out this talk by Oscar Stolberg or this devlog by Thin Matrix, both of which I will link in the description. So, the dual grid system sounds great and all, but how exactly can we implement it in a game engine like Godot? Well, today I'd like to go through how I did it for my games. The 2 grids I mentioned before are implemented as 2 tile maps, with this display tile map being offset by half a tile. The rest of the logic is handled with this custom tile map script. This big chunk at the start is the 16 different neighbour configurations and their corresponding tiles. The tiles are represented as vectors here because they refer to atlas coordinates. So back in Godot, you can edit these placeholder tiles like normal, and then the offset tiles will generate over them once you hit play. You can of course update the tiles at runtime by calling this function here. One of the trickier parts of writing the script was figuring out which coordinates to use for the neighbour tiles. To visualize this, let's label all the coordinates of our tile map and then offset one of them. If we want to update the tile at 0, 0 and refer to the offset neighbours, then as you can see, they are located at these positions here, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, and 1, 1 relative to the tile you want to change. But if you're on the offset grid and want to refer to the neighbours on the world grid, then it would be the negative version of those coordinates instead. This difference took me a while to wrap my head around, but in terms of the actual code, it just meant adding a minus sign instead of a plus in some places. This demo project is available on GitHub if you want to check it out, and I also made a version for Unity too. When I implemented this in my games, I also had to add a bit of extra logic for randomization and animations. but I think the effort was particularly worth it for this water, because I wanted an 11-frame animation for the shoreline. Thanks to the dual grid system, I got away with drawing up 155 tiles instead of the 507 I would have otherwise needed. Dual grid aside, for those who will continue to use regular auto tiling, one thing I can definitely recommend is at least using a tool like this one to help generate the full set of tiles. I personally wish I had started doing this a lot earlier, as it would have saved me so much time. Before I end the video, I just wanted to provide a quick update on the status of my games. I've pretty much finished porting Interscape from Unity to Godot. It took me about 6 months, but considering I only worked on it in my free time, and I had to learn an entirely new engine, I'm pretty happy with this progress. Plus, it gave me the chance to improve a lot of the assets and code along the way. However, I recently got a new idea for a game that I'm quite excited about. A simple game about exploring, collecting, and selling houseplants. What you're seeing here is the first few months of progress. I've decided to prioritize it over Interscape for now, since I think the scope will be much smaller. But we'll see how things go. Alright, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching.
China is definitely not an ally of Russia. I mean, this friends without limits. That was BS. But I think China, what they care about the most is maintaining the status quo, maintaining access to cheap Russian oil and gas.
Putin wanted to intimidate Poland. That's why he sent 1,000 Russian troops to Belarus to take part in an exercise practicing an invasion.
Hi some pros, welcome back to my another channel. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a random level generator. So without further ado, let's get started. So I have a quick scene setup. This is our player and this is a platform with a box for light, and this is the script. And yeah, you can see this is the basic momentum now. Okay, so how do we make a procedural generated game? For that we need to use randoms. Now if you don't know what a random is, well, fuck you, go first watch the blackest tutorial.
Hi everyone, it's Fabric, and last week I did a small random monster generator that generates unique monsters based on a random seed. In today's video, I will show you the system that I use to control that random system. What is the random seed? In short words, nothing is random. When we call for a random value, an equation fires out